Hello, I'm Juana and welcome to my studio, where I will show you a funny little comic story I made some years ago, following along the Inktober prompts, and how this turned into a fun and useful experiment. Since then, my drawing skills and my understanding of the comic format have improved, so I decided to redraw it into a proper short comic. After we look at the story, I will show you how I'm planning the new version, and I also have a few tips I can offer from this experience. I hope you'll enjoy this. Before opening the sketchbook, let me show you a bit of context. Making comics was something I had been wanting to do for a long time, but actually I had no experience besides reading the comics. I had some experience in graphics, and what I was actually drawing were these simple funny cartoons for my family and friends. I was drawing this daily doodle of Porchi the pig. Porchi is this nice, well-meaning, goofy character that kind of represents our family life. I was not even sharing this online, because it is just a fun personal project and many of the drawings would have no meaning for someone outside my family. I should do a separate video about Porchi, because he sure has a lot to say, even if he actually is a silent character. So, while I was drawing Porchi just for fun, I discovered Inktober for the first time. I will take this out of the way and present Exhibit B, my first Inktober sketchbook from 2016. It was such a great new experience. I was trying different ideas every day, and I actually managed to keep the pace and finish it. A close friend was doing the challenge at the same time, so we both had great fun sharing the experience, and both gained a lot from it. Look, this is the friends prompt, so I drew this image of me and her drinking tea. She lived in London at the time, and while I drew pigs, she drew a turtle character. I am mentioning this because we'll encounter my friend later in this video. Some of the drawings I did that year revealed the possibilities of building a story around the prompts, and that was something I really wanted, actually making a comic. I also enjoyed very much drawing myself as a character. It felt like I was really going on adventures, and my favorite drawing in this sketchbook was this drawing for the Lost prompt, in which I get out of a train and find myself in a world inhabited by pigs. So, the following year I was waiting eagerly for Inktober to start, and as you can see I had picked a nicer and larger format notebook from Moleskine, and though I did not manage to plan ahead to prepare a scenario, a storyline, I decided I will try to make a comic following the prompts, and I just went for it. So let's dive into my wacky prompt-driven Inktober story. I'll keep the prompt list here. And the first prompt was the word swift, so this is how I approached it. I would call this the slice of life hallucinating type of approach. My character is also getting started on Inktober. You can see the calendar on the wall and spot the Inktober word list just beside it. I'm searching for inspiration for the word swift, and inspiration swooshes through the scene in the shape of Porchi the pig and the 3 black pigs called Inkoinks, running on a scooter. I was very pleased with the way I used the word swift smack right in the image. So the next prompt was divided. Because I was determined to keep to the prompts, there are some jumps in the story that make it a bit difficult to follow, and this is why I decided, now that I have better drawing skills and a better understanding of the comic format, to revisit this story and give it a proper life as a comic. So I am presently working on redoing the page compositions so it reads more clearly, and I am also updating the drawing style, but I will get to that at the end of the video, if you bear with me. Now let's get back to the story. So what's happening here? After the swift visit of Porchi on the scooter, we can see him running down this street, the door of my character's apartment becomes a division between the real world and this other reality, a quaint old town inhabited by pigs. There are some hints on the left side of the drawing. We can see my desk and the books on the shelves reading Draw, Realism, Pigs. On the Pigtown side, we can see down the street, and there is a shop sign here we should take notice of. The next prompt is poison. That means our story has to take a sudden leap forward. So, going down the street in pursuit of Porchi, I reach the store with the vial sign and look inside. I took great pains to draw this old shop interior, something like a chemist's shop, so I can introduce you to these two evil pigs who are obviously up to no good, preparing some kind of poison. Next prompt is underwater. Let's see how I jumped to that one. So I walk past the chemist shop, and behind the two evil pigs have noticed me and are looking from inside the shop in an evil, perspective-challenging way. I love this little pig drawing with chalk on the sidewalk. We spot the fourth prompt on this billboard that I notice. So this is the way I managed to make the story jump from poison to underwater without leaving the city street. It reads The Great Underwater Show, and it has a sort of mermaid pig drawn on it. So next prompt was long. This page actually starts to look more like a comic, doesn't it? We see a detail of the billboard that reads, Get tickets now. Then we see some pigs that seem to stand in a queue, and the prompt reveals itself in this image of a long pig queue leading to the entrance to the underwater show. We spot Porchi and the little inkoinks in the queue, and there is also a small pig holding a balloon. On to the next prompt, sword. This was a difficult one, and I actually didn't manage to get it properly blended into the story. I am still outside the theater in the queue, seen from a different angle, and this is a statue of Pigtown Mayor holding a sword. I did manage to get the mayor back in the story later at one point, but I left the sword unused. I couldn't come up with a way to really use it. So this shows that I was building this story more like a puzzle out of the prompts. This worked for me then because at the time I had no experience in making scenarios, so I was approaching things in a game-like way, and I actually was surprising myself with every new turn of the story. The next prompt was shy. We are finally inside the theater, and I had no choice but to invent an underwater show. This turned out like a type of circus space with a large cylindrical fish tank in the middle, and yes, there are merpigs of various shapes inside it, putting up a show. My character and the three inkoinks are in the audience, and here's also the small pig with the blue balloon. And did you spot the shy prompt? Porchi is exchanging shy looks with a cute merpig, and this is what I call a very good use of the prompt, because it carries forward into the next part of the story. But before continuing, let's take notice of the two evil pigs sneaking in the right corner of the image, carrying the poison from before. Let's move to the next prompt, crooked. We already have two crooked characters in the scene, so what are they doing? Oh no, they are pouring the dubious black substance into the water tank in the vicinity of a small swimming pig something, and something terrible is starting to happen. And the next prompt is screech, and it fitted very well my plot. Let's see. There's not much explaining needed for this page, but I just want to point out the reaction of this little pig. This is how a small kid reacts. I think I got it right. The next prompt is gigantic. Are you ready? Oh my, things got a bit blown out of proportion here. I really enjoy grand establishing shots in comics that I read, so I try to make an impressive image here. Through the glass ceiling of the theater, we can see how the small pigfish turned gigantic. We also see the street leading to the theater, the detail of the billboard, and the sign on the evil pig's shop. There is a statue with a sword, not of much use to the plot, and we see pigs escaping from the theater. The next prompt actually is run. In the beginning of the video, I said I didn't start with a plan or scenario, but at this point I was trying to think ahead and find ways to link successive prompts together. I had a large sheet of paper organized like a mind map, with the prompts and all the ideas I could come up with. So every day I already knew in advance what I could do for the next 2 or 3 prompts, and as I progressed the story got more defined until I knew how it will finish, because I really wanted the story to be complete and have a nice suitable ending. I think at first I wanted these 2 pigs to be the evil pigs escaping towards the shop, but then I changed my mind because here they are running away from the crime scene. Here we get a glimpse at what is happening in the tank, and look at poor Porky's face. But now my character has spotted the 2 pigs she has seen before, and I spring into action, grabbing Porky's scooter and following the 2 pigs outside the theater. Next prompt is the word shattered. This was easy, as we now had a water tank with a gigantic spiky pigfish in it. So it breaks and we see water pouring out of the theater entrance, and also a few heroic details, like the 3 ingoings surfing on a wave and Porky saving his merpig crush. Next prompt is teaming. And this page proves the fact that English is not my native language, because I got it mixed with teaming, like in a team. So this is why everybody teams up on the scooter in pursuit of the baddies. Well, the perspective here is awful, but it is rather a dynamic scene. Next prompt is fierce. The hero team gets to a halt when it reaches a shadier part of the town, and the growling big dog thing gets in their way. But the ingoings prove to be the fierce element in the prompt. The big dog thing runs away and leads the story to Groh and Ellie. Groh is the Romanian word for oink. Next prompt is mysterious. And I got to draw another nice establishing shot. Through the archway, we see a dark-looking alley. There's a pub with some dubious characters lurking on the left. The dog pig from the previous page is hiding behind this blackboard, but the most mysterious thing happening here is this door here with the sign Snort and Company Investigations, and someone watching from behind the door. Next prompt is Fat. So we get to meet Fat Sam, a private detective. He mysteriously beckons our heroes inside his office. And if we closely study this scene and ignore the terrible perspective of the drawing, we get some interesting information from Sam's notice board. We see pictures of the 2 evil pigs labeled as suspects, and we also see a newspaper page that reads "Scientist banned from uni." Fat Sam gives my character a piece of paper. Porky makes a very cute face. Next prompt is graceful. Do you remember at the beginning of the video I mentioned a good friend of mine that draws a turtle character? Well, now you get to meet her, kind of. The note from Fat Sam leads our heroes to the secret turtle club, to a fancy pig lady called Dee. My friend's name is Diana. Here one logistic problem of the story is solved. Porky will not have to carry his merpig friend around all the time. He can drop her into this turtle tank at the club. And it also seems like Dee has some information for our heroes. Going to the next prompt, filthy. The graceful D leads our heroes, minus Porky's merpig now safely back into the water, to a filthy back alley. The sweeper pig character we meet here has some new information for us, as he points to a manhole opening. The next prompts were okay for my storyline, but their order was not ideal, so in the sketchbook the timeline is jumping around a bit too much. I'll fix this for now by switching the next two prompts. We'll first look at deep and see the hero team descending into the sewers down a very long ladder. We see that it leads really deep to a hidden chamber. Next, let's go to the prompt cloud. We go back one page, and deep under the ground there is this secret laboratory where the mad scientist and his helper are going forward with their evil plan. If we look closely at the drawing, we can learn all about the plan. The professor wants to rule like a king by releasing this poisonous cloud over the city and turning many of his citizens into black, spiky, funny things. And the cloud he is planning to release is being already created in this great glass balloon. Next prompt, furious. Our team enters the secret lab and surprises the two evil pigs. The professor gets really furious and immediately activates the mechanism that releases the dark poisonous cloud over the town. We see the cloud popping out of a chimney over the rooftops. Next prompt is trail. So what I did here was to get back to Fat Sam the detective, and Graceful D has joined the investigation now. They are working together, tracing the criminal trail on the map of the city, and it all leads to Duck Mud's chemist shop. D notices the unusual cloud over the city. What can be done? The next prompt is juicy, and we go back to the underground lab, where Doc Mud and Muddy escape through a hidden door, and our heroes look around the lab and figure out Doc's evil plot. But the lab also holds the antidote to the black poisonous substance. Looks like the evil pigs have been squeezing the poison and the antidote from these spiky fruits they grow in the lab. There are some black and some white fruits, and oh no, Porky is acting his pig self and is about to eat a black fruit. Next prompt is blind, and this is a good place in the story to increase the suspense. The evil pigs are back upstairs in the shop, and Doc Mud switches off the lights in the lab. Fortunately, Porky is prevented by one of the inkoings from eating the black fruit, but at this point all turns dark, and though we worry a bit about what the thuds and bumps are about, help comes from above. A rope with a note reading, "Hold on, Sam." And the next thing, we see our heroes being pulled up by the rope out of the secret lab. What is happening? We'll find out with the next prompt, ship. And here was my chance to have fun drawing a sort of flying vehicle, matching the story. It's a flying pig, of course, and our heroes get pulled on board where their friends are waiting. There's Dee in a black action jumpsuit, Fat Sam, and even the merpig, worried about Porky. We notice that Porky has managed to take a bottle of antidote from the lab. Next prompt, squeak. This is an action-packed scene, so let's see what happens. In the establishing shot panel, we see the pigs in the main square noticing the cloud and accordingly preparing their umbrellas, and we see the flying pig approaching the scene. On the right, the theater's roof is completely destroyed, and the black spiky fish pig is looming gigantically over the scene. But something from the flying pig's nose is producing a change in the cloud. It becomes lighter in color and starts raining over the gigantic spiky cursed fish pig. A close-up panel reveals Porky inside the ship's nose, spraying antidote on the cloud. the poison's effect is reverted, and the gigantic black thing turns back to a small cute fish pig. With a loud squeak, it lands on the statue that decorated the top of the ruined theater glass roof. Next prompt is climb. We see my character jumping from the flying pig's nose onto the roof. We can also see here it's Doc Mud exiting through a window to the roof of his shop. I climb onto the ruined roof structure. I am going to save the little squeaky fish pig. Unless Doc Mud, in search of revenge over his spoiled evil plans, manages to hit me with a slingshot. Next prompt is fall. Oh no. Both my hero and the little fish pig fall, but down in front of the theater, the flying pig has landed, and everybody is ready to catch the fall with a large sheet. Next prompt is united. And here they are, all our friends, united and successful in saving the city, rewarded by the mayor of Pigtown with medals. Everybody is here. Porchi and the Inkoinks, Fat Sam, Graceful D, the cute merpig, and even the sweeper from the back alley. There is also the little pig with his balloon, and you would never guess, this piggy here with the long black hair is actually my daughter. When you draw comics, there are endless possibilities for having fun. We are getting near the end. Next prompt found. We don't need loose ends, so here we lead the police to the chemist's shop, and we find the evil pigs hidden behind the secret door. And here I leave Pigtown through the door leading to my studio. Porky waves goodbye. Fat Sam and Dee are getting some ice cream with my daughter. In the back we spot the police, leading the two evil pigs to the police car. And here we have a music shop, with my husband in front of the shop window looking at records. Yeah. We still have a prompt left. Mask. How did I fit this into the story ending? It was a bit of a pain. I'm back at my desk, writing the end on my story, when I get scared out of my wits by the pig dog creature from Inktober Day 14. But it's only Porky making a joke. He has a pig dog mask. He and the Inkoinks are just doing some mischief around my studio. And now the story is complete, and one of the Inkoinks writes the end in ink on the carpet. So, this was my Inktober 2017 story, drawn traditionally in ink. The new version is taking shape digitally. It doesn't feel too efficient redrawing an old story, but at least the digital work makes things easier for me. This is a sketch of the edited first page. The original panel composition is nice, but the different format allows me to begin with an establishing shot, because I want to clarify the fact that my character does not live in Pigtown, but in an apartment building in a modern real city. I am also adding some text. Though the silent movie style is cute, I want this version to be easier for the reader to understand, and I think text can play a good part in it, without spoiling too much the vibe of the original. I won't overdo it. I'm still considering the text, but it will state the date, 1st of October 2017. The second panel has the same composition as the original, but I have added more detail, improved the perspective, and drawn myself thinner and younger, because of course this is how I evolved in real life in the course of 8 years. The wall behind me shows more art and reveals that I was already drawing Porky. I have a cup of coffee on the desk, and I added a window with a curtain on this side. I think it's a nicer scene now. The next panel could also accommodate a thought bubble like this. Still no idea what to draw today. They say inspiration has to find you working. Well, I should just try and sketch something. And in the next panel, because I never know when my inspiration will come barging in, while out loud I exclaim, "Oh, not again." So it turns out this might not be the first time my character follows Porchi into Pigtown, and suggesting this ties well with my other plans for this world of pig nonsense. I'll get into that some other time, and I also plan to show you my progress on the remaking of this story. Before we end, I have written down a few tips that might help you in case you want to try and make a comic story around the Inktober prompts. First, pick for the story a character of your own creation, one you would enjoy taking for a spin and are already used to drawing. But if you don't have such a character, you might try using yourself as the story protagonist. I think it will make all the story choices easier and definitely more fun. Pick a genre you will have most fun with. Detective story, fantasy, science fiction, romance, but think of something on the lighter side. Working with random prompts will make it difficult to keep the story serious and logical, as things are bound to take weird turns. The prompts are the frame that takes much of the decision making away from you. And this is the great thing about this exercise. You don't have to think of the perfect story, but only to practice putting panels together in a fun way. But though this is a fun kind of game, it isn't a competition about how well you can fit the prompts, so don't stay stuck if you can't make something work. It's better to focus on getting on with the story, so do change or reverse prompts if that helps you. From the beginning, try looking ahead and finding story hooks throughout all the prompts, especially the end. It's very satisfying to get to the finish line. Final point, have fun! I'll put it in the video description for you, and if you'd like to find out more about Porchi's adventures, please stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for watching. Until next time!